it's the Blue Heart Podcast. Before the break, we were talking about families and time to unwind as we're approaching the festive season. So we'll continue where we left. Together with me in the studio, we have Mr. Clement Lamini. Mr. Ngos, as a pastor, now I want us to get into that. How much do you encourage your congregants to actually utilize this time to connect with their families? Because I think for the longest time, as Christians, we've treated ourselves as people that are actually living in isolation from our families, without understanding that the very structure that can uphold one, the church, yes, spiritually, but then the family is our anchor when it comes to that. So as a church, how do we encourage the people and the congregants that we lead around this time to put away everything and concentrate on their families?
I know I will probably become very unpopular with that. It's been the history of the church, that around Christmas time we spend time remembering what Christmas means.
Yes.
And then you find that in that period when we are closed from work, for those who close work, we spend it largely in sanctuaries or church buildings.
Yes.
Director is laughing. And obviously because of our faith and our religion, it is important for us to do that, to remember what the season represents.
Okay.
But I always say, if we make it a top-heavy fraction, and there's a lot of these activities that then take away from quality time that we spend as families, then we are doing a disservice to the congregation.
Yes.
So my firm belief, I don't do Christmas conventions or Christmas revival.
Okay.
That's me. I know other churches do that. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I believe that if there's a camp that we want to do at the end of the year, let's do it before Christmas.
Yeah.
Then on the day of Christmas, we can have a service, because it's a ceremonial, and we are making people understand what the season represents.
Okay.
Then let's give people time to go and spend with their families, with an extension though, to explain to the Christians or the congregation what the season means.
Okay.
And then they get some time to share laughter, to converse and rewind or energize around the table with their families or wherever they sit with their families. I think for me that's very important.
True.
Yeah. Otherwise, if we take away the time, then soon we are going to be coming back to work on the first week of January.
Yeah.
And we have not spent time with our families.
Yeah. I think we are taking me to one interesting corner. Now the family itself as a structure or as a unit. I think we have different descriptions for families.
Sure.
But I think for the benefit of our viewers, we'd want to actually explain to them. I think for me, I'm lucky to have you in the studio today, because you will give me the different perspectives.
Yeah.
Firstly, in the church setting perspective, and again on the sociological perspective, to say what is a family and its relation and its effect to a person.
So the first, I think that I like that you are bringing the sociological aspect of it, because family, by its design, it as it's described in literature, we call it the first point of socialization for a human being. We learn to model, to do things, to talk, to respect, to honor from our families. Some other families we don't learn any of those things, but it's still a family.
It's still a family,
And then in the context of also descriptions, they call a family that has a father and a mother as a normal family. Then a family that only has one parent,
Yeah.
it's called a broken family.
Yeah, that's
And I've always argued with people about that. Not because I'm trying to demonize sociological imperatives.
okay.
I was not raised in a family where there was a father and a mother.
Mother, yeah.
But I've never called my family a broken family.
Yeah.
Simply because the lady that was running the family manager that was running the
Yes.
family tried her utmost best
Okay.
to ensure that there is some form of a semblance of balance as a mother and doing the provision, the clothing, the basic needs and services.
Okay.
And then the moral, tried as much as she could, the moral aspect of the family. So family also establishes what we call a moral code.
Okay.
What does it look like?
Yeah.
So that's a sociological type of family.
Yes.
But then, because we are living in 2024,
Yes.
we have now living in Eswatini. We've got child-headed households.
households.
We've got father-led household. We've got single parent household. All of these dynamics are our reality now.
True.
So it could be a group of siblings with both parents dying through COVID or whatever reason they died. They're a family.
True.
Without though the father figure and the mother figure.
Yes.
They're a family because they're collectively, they're siblings and they're staying together. Or they may not be staying together, maybe they may be separate. But in December they decide, guys, let's all meet, converge at home, they come home and they're a family.
Yeah.
So we've then the church also then is now a formation, becomes now a family also of believers, or a community of believers, even though it's a myriad of different families.
True.
So you can see family as different, staggered in different levels. So whilst we accept and love our church family,
yes,
but our first responsibility is our family.
I'm actually excited we are actually raising that, because I think what then tends to get into our minds, especially us, the Christian community, and especially around this time, we become so holier than thou in the sense that we forget where we're coming from. Because I think for me it is very important to understand your roots, because it's what makes you who you are, irrespective of your religious and belief systems. So I think that is why I'm actually raising that, to say, let us emphasize on the importance of honoring our families, especially around this time. Yes, we know that we have connotations that our families are toxic at times. Some of them won't be even going to their families around this time because of that. There's so much conflicts that are happening in our different families, and some of our families have actually disowned them to say, I will no longer go there. But I think how much of value is conflict resolution important now to ensure that we have at least healthy families. And I think you have rightfully put it that we have different kinds of families, and we shouldn't attach the narrative that a proper family is one that has a husband and a wife, or a father and a mother. But we've got different kind of families, and all of them, there are ingredients that needs to be instilled in terms of values to ensure that the people that are brought up in that family setup, they become people that are of value in the future. So now, how then do we ensure that the issue around conflicts and toxicity within our families? Because I think you can attest yourself, you have heard those narratives to say, my family is toxic. I want nothing to do with my family. I will no longer go there. I'm rightfully, I'm okay where I am. So people will be staying in Tungwane Park, people will be staying in Dalridge, will be staying and will avoid going to the countryside to visit their families.
Others are not in the countryside. Those who stay, who are bourgeoisie.
True.
No, but you are right. You are right to say it's a very, very dicey one. And if you're in South Africa, it has also been permeated into Eswatini now that there is black tax. If I go to my family, they just want to spend on me. But all of these things, Director, depend on your posture. I like that you are saying there are conflicts that emanate or that are already there, that exist. That then stop us from going home.
Yes.
Into meeting our either extended or just our family,
Our
not even
family,
extended,
yeah.
because there's negativity and all of those things. I always say to people, if there is a bad vibe at home,
Yeah.
or there's toxicity, and you are not ready to confront it or to face it,
Yes.
I suggest you to not attempt to do that, because it causes further pain.
Okay.
And it can actually further alienate you from your family. But from those who are of the Christian faith, I always say it's part of the requirements, unfortunately.
Okay.
Dishonor is not part of our faith. Honor is actually what we should be doing.
Okay.
So for some others, you make attempts. They always say, how to eat an elephant, one bite at a time.
At a time. Yeah.
So for fixing toxicity and horrid relationships, it's not something you do during the festive season.
Okay.
It is a process
Okay. Leading
that
towards
that leads towards times when we are going together as a family. I mean, some of us are also toxic.
Yeah.
We go to these family gatherings, like you said, with this holier than thou attitude. We get there, we know that our families, during Christmas, there'll be traditional brew,
Yeah.
there'll be parties, people will be drinking themselves silly. And you get there and you want to show them that you are the preacher in the family.
It's like
It may not work
Yeah.
that way. It's festive season. So if you want to deal with conflict and toxicity, make it a project that you do during the whole year.
okay.
Otherwise, you leave it for the festive season. You'll be surprised. People will be too drunk. Actually, they will drink for you. But I'm not saying, and they'll wait for you. When you get there, they will tell you where to get off.
Okay.
So all of these things are important. So I mean, for me, I believe for us to deal with toxicity in relationships, let's make it a project where we spend time and think, how can we solve? What are even the reasons why there's toxicity? Why are we angry at each other? Then deal with it. Don't make it a project, Jakismus.
You're raising a point which is so much crucial. The point of tolerance,
Yes.
which I think it's another cause for these conflicts. How much important it is for me to be tolerant when I go and meet my family members, because I've got my own belief system, and I've got things that I can't tolerate and stand. But now, because I belong to this family, there will be things that they will be doing, which even though I won't take part in them, but at least I need to be welcoming and also to be tolerant to whatever.
And to be part of that family.
And to be part of the family, Because I think that is very important. The reason why some of us will find that we avoid the situations of going home is because we don't want to tolerate some of the behaviors that will be going on in our families.
Yeah, if I were speaking to just anyone, I would say it differently. But let me say it this way.
Yeah.
Part of the tenets of our Christian faith is demonstrating our faith by living it out.
Exactly.
It's not about words.
Yeah.
It's not about judgments or accusations or infightings and showing that you are better than people. It's just to live your life. Okay. So if there's a ritual that they are doing, you don't participate, but you are still part of the family.
Yeah.
If you've got a house or a room or a flat, go to your room. Don't participate in this, because people are won by change of behavior.
True.
More than just the words that you say. Exhibit your life. Love people, because it's very important.
Yeah.
Love people, but don't allow them to take advantage of you.
True.
Which is also very important. You're being stand on certain issues that you don't participate, and even explain why you are not part of that if they are asking you.
Yes.
And you don't owe anyone an explanation. But being part of the family, I always insist. I grew up in a family where when they gathered on Christmas, we used to, as kids, we used to love going to Wakoko on Christmas. But what we didn't like is that during the fest, they would then get drunk, or literally all of them, except for 2 or 3.
Sure.
Then when they got drunk, they would fight. Not fight with words, but fight physically. Yeah. So as kids, you are caught in between these fights, and you don't even know what they're about. So we honestly found it and believed that family gatherings are about fighting and strife. Whereas we as children just enjoyed the company of cousins and other people. So families, unfortunately, the elderly who are supposed to then demonstrate and model these behaviors are the ones that are angry at others. Others are angry at you because you are a director.
True.
There's nothing you've done. It's not your faith.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you are a director and they are not directors. Or you are doing better than them. So, but managing that is not running away from the fact that they are your family members. You still become part of the family. When you feel like you are going to lose your mind or you're going to be angry, walk away and then come back. But this is your family. It defines who you are. And then set them up boundaries. Because just like you, when they know you're a director, they think you're going to buy everyone's going to buy. Certain things you'll tell them, I'm not going to buy this. I don't have enough, but I'm only going to give this. And that's all I'm giving. And be resolute about it. And they will respect you for that. Even if they hate you, anyways, there's nothing they add in your life. But let's not run away from the responsibility of if time permits. I mean, there are people who are missing family time because their parents died during COVID or other people died. So they miss this whole thing of being family. So I insist even as an opportunity for you to go to your family, meet your family members and have fun, whether they are drinking or not. You are not drinking.
It's actually the time of the year where all of us will be going to our families or spending time with our families. So I think the discussion is centered around let's make sure that we don't run away from the responsibility of spending time with our families, especially because that is what makes us who we are as individuals. And of course, I like the issue because of our boundaries. Set your own boundaries and also make sure that the things that you believe in, you stand by them. But that they shouldn't take away your time to spend with your family and enjoy this time as we're approaching the festive season. I think also, one of them, badawehla baye emakhaya athi siyawuphahla siphahlele emadlodi sibonge sihlabelele abadzala. As a Christian, how then do you stand and say, yes, I belong to this family, but I want to partake in this?
The interesting thing is when it comes to this, if you are known to be the Christian that you are, and they know that you are a Christian, they're not going to involve you in those things. I know that there is a family that I know that does it. Even now their kids are adults, they are serving in Babane and Manzini, but the father insists everyone before the new year must come, and there's a guy that has a house in the home. They come, they go in one by one, and the things are done to them, in preparation for the new year, bringing them luck. But if I have, like we said earlier, your personal life is a true testimony than the words that you say. So if people see that if they know that you're a Christian, they're not going to then want to invite you or force you to participate. And if you are forced, then there's laws that also protect you. You're not supposed to participate in a ritual that you are not for.
True.
So your family must know. They must know that these things you don't do them. And the problem which we also face is that some of us are saying we're not supposed to participate in things, but we don't even know why we're not supposed to participate. So even the information, explain to the adults. I'm not going to do 1, 2, and 3 because of 1, 2, and 3. And if you explain to your father or your mother and tell them, not rebel, but explain to them how that infringes on your faith. A sober adult or father or mother will understand it. Because they know as you grow up, you change and you become independent. But running away from it makes them feel like they're being dishonored. And remember that the words and the prayers of a parent can block you in many ways.
That's very true.
Very
true.
They can pray. And if that comes from the heart of a father or a mother against the son, I'm telling you, no matter how many prayers you can make, a father and a mother can pray and stop and block things.
I think hold it right there, because I think I like that you are bringing that up, because most of the time we've told ourselves that we don't care what our parents think of us, and we don't care what they say in our lives.
That's dishonor.
Yeah, that's dishonor. So, but I want you now to stress that, especially to these youngsters, to say, even though I can have my PhD, but my parent who is a Form 3 dropout or a grade 7 dropout still has a value that he can add to my destiny. How much is important then for us to understand that? Because some of our parents are drunkards, some of our parents are educated than us, so we then tend to say we won't listen to their advices and their teachings.
You want me to preach, Moses? How much time do you have?
Take it on.
So I in the book of Genesis, even though I don't remember specifically where it is, Jacob had 12 sons.
Okay.
When he was old and frail, he then calls them to bless them.
Okay.
He speaks to Reuben. Reuben was one of his, the tribe of Reuben. He blesses him, and then he blocks him from not being successful.
Sure.
Because he had gotten into his father's bed.
Yeah.
So that guy was cursed. The tribe of Reuben was cursed by Jacob. It was the father who made that proclamation. Fortunately for the tribe of Reuben, was that though the father had spoken and released that blessing or whatever, whether, because I call it a blessing, it's not a curse, a blessing over his life. Moses, somewhere in Exodus, speaks now a different dimension to that curse.
To reverse it. Okay.
So which means, as long as Reuben lived, over his head was lingering the curse of his father.
Okay.
If your father is dead, your mother can do it in the stead of your father.
Yeah.
So, you need your father to reverse it.
Okay.
It can be reversed by your father or reversed by a priest or a prophet or someone that has a higher rank. Now, if I was preaching in church. So we were saying I must advise the youngster.
Yes.
You need the blessing of your father or your mother. If your father is no longer there, your mother takes the position of your father.
Okay.
You need to honor and respect and seek advice from your parents.
Yeah.
And they are actually better positioned to actually speak life into you by just a proclamation from their mouth.
Sure.
And if you make them upset and make them angry, and you put hatred into their hearts about you, they'll never say a good thing about you.
Sure.
So we have to, whether it's from 2 or even standard 1, the fact that you come out of their loins,
True.
they've got a stake, they've got their DNA smeared on you. You're connected to them for life.
Yeah.
So people can run away and say whatever they want. I've learned that the words of your parent will actually make or break you.
Sure. Yeah, that was a preaching. I think I like what you are saying because as we go and reflect, as we go and spend time with our families, let us remember that no matter how much we think at times our parents have wronged us, this is an opportune time for us to sit them down and reconcile so that that doesn't then block our destinies and brings a curse to our families and our generations to come. Correctly tuned to the Blue Heart podcast. As we're winding up, of course, I want to steal from part of other shows that I've actually listened to you from. During this time of the festive season, not all of us will be spending time with our families. Not all of us will have that time to be married. Because of so many reasons. Some of us, we are lonely within ourselves. Some of us, we are lonely because we don't have someone to spend this time with. Just few words you can share with those people that will be faced with that during this time of the year. Yeah,
that's a tough one. But I want to encourage someone who's watching to say, in your loneliness, I like the fact that we are also a Christian-based organization. The Bible speaks about God being the father to the fatherless. Speaks that he is also a husband to the widows. But most people will say, but we can't see him, we can't touch him.
True.
So part of what you do to ensure that you cover that gap, you can never close the gap of losing family and associates. But there are friends. You've got networks of people that you can spend time with during the festive season. You've got friends. You've got colleagues you can touch base with, and ensure that whilst the bees or the bars of the festive season goes on, you are actually connected to someone else who is physical. Because I know you're always connected to God, but you may be connected to your colleagues or friends. And also, if you know a friend who doesn't have family during the festive season, it's also your obligation to check on them to see how are you doing. Can we invite you for lunch? Come and spend time with us. Let's go out and have some fun together. That caps the issue of loneliness and anxiety and also mental disorders. So I encourage someone, don't hide in your room. Don't hide in your loneliness. Don't hide in a dark place. Reach out to people. And if you are watching and you know of a friend or colleague or even a relative who may have lost everything, do get in touch with them so that they can spend time with someone during the family season and the festive season.
Rightfully put, Kosi. Thank you so much. I think all of us, it's our responsibility to spread the love around this time, and let's not spread hate. And I know, Kosi, around this time also, we see so many acts of violence. We also want to say it out that we shouldn't be practicing that. And let us make sure we create safe spaces for everyone around this time. As we are merry and as we enjoy, let's respect each other and make sure that we don't infringe to the rights of the next person. Otherwise, it has been a pleasure for us to be with you in this podcast, especially in this episode, as we reflect on the year and prepare to spend the time with our families. Let us go there and enjoy ourselves and make sure that we spend the time and enjoy ourselves to the best possible way we can, so that by the time we approach the upcoming year, we are ready and eager to face the year with much power and energy. The podcast is the Blue Heart Podcast. Till we meet on our next episode, it's been an exciting pleasure as your host to be with you. Until we see you again, remember to like us, to comment on our comment section, and also to share our channel so that we spread the love and conversations that we have. Till we meet again, cheers, bye from me.
Now you asked what do I advise?
Yes.
Yes. See, I've always said to Bazalwane, even where I speak on these things of parenting, there's no one size fits all approach to parenting. But I always insist on one critical area of the parents getting a chance to interact with the kids.
When we're talking parents, remember we're talking about both of them.
Yes,
and equally so.
I'm talking about both of them. Well, I've come to understand that it can never be equal.